Hey guys, welcome back to Clash with Bando. Tonight I've got a pretty exciting war recap, something different than usual, 216, it's our win streak 34, and we had an idea come forward from Shine in Clan that maybe we could take our guys out of feeder and do a bigger 40 versus 40 war and give them a bit of experience. So we managed to get 4 or 5 people in from our feeder and just do a random queue. It wasn't an organised war or anything like that. And we managed to get a fairly good draw. Angel Slayer, it was an international clan, and yeah, they did really well. So they had us a little bit on the bases where they had 4 Town Hall 11s to our 3, but then it was 6 and 6 for both teams, but then we had a huge advantage on Town Hall 9s, and it sort of did show out in the end. And they didn't get through the full go. So for our war stats, you can see the 3 stars, 37 to 31. So an extra 3 stars. Absolutely fantastic war from our guys. So a big 6-pack from DTN, 6-pack from Bando 82 and Mozza at the Town Hall 9s, and then several of our Town Hall 8s doing what they always do and knocking out bases early, knocking out the 8s, the 7s, all the low shit. And a really good war from our Town Hall 10s and 11s as well. So Bando 80 for myself, I had a high 2-star and a 10 on their bottom Town Hall 11 and a 3-star. Dave had a really good 2-star on their number 2 fairly early in the war. Did miss the 3-star attempt on their Town Hall 10. Bubbles was a blow-in from Aussie Cockheads. And he brought along a mate's Town Hall 11 just to fill some numbers for us. He did well early on in the war. 2 stars, mapped out that number 4 absolutely beautifully. And I'll show the replay on that as to how I got the 3-star on there. And then Shine, very unlucky to miss the 3-star on their bottom Town Hall 10, but then nailed it on the second one. So really good war. And then Bando 81B, hitting a Town Hall 9 and then smashing out a 3-star as well. So Jacob for a couple hit downs. So really good war from us, enjoyable. It was nice to get our feeder clan. These are guys that we hope are going to build up and get into our main wars as soon as possible, and the guys that we want to be able to call on. So yeah, it was a good, I guess, suggestion from Shine, and I'm really happy that we could get into it straight away. So you see here, I've gone into the number 4. This is Bando 80. This was the last attack for the war. The last laugh was definitely ours. Really fun attack. I probably should have done it live, but excuse me, just wanted to get it out. So you see I start with the 4 healer Queen Walk. You can see I dropped down 1 wall breaker followed by 3, and that I knew that Expo would get that wall breaker, but it was just driving a test pattern to start off with it, and that's why I dropped the 3. Now you can see also the rage going down. Those minions move so quick from the clan castle. They actually got me on my attack on the number 4. On the number 3. And the minions got to me very, very quickly and forced me to use my queen ability. So you can see I split the side there. Couple Valks down low, couple Valks up high, and then the main course to go into the middle. Double freeze on the Infernos. That was nice. Bit of an early tome on the Warden there. Held on to my queen the whole time. I was pretty proud of that. It looked a bit hairy while I was doing other things, but you can see skipped the giant bombs. The reason I hit this differently from how Bubbles did it was he actually showed me there was a giant bomb just above that first one, and then there was also 2 alongside there. So I've hit that totally different. My queen's on full health now, king's on full health, Warden full health. I've still got 6 healers left, a few Valks, and you can see I had a few things in the bag. So a couple of hogs extra, a couple wizzies, couple minions. One thing I've personally been making mistakes on doing these styles of raids is getting too used to a spam attack where you just smash out all your Valks and then you might fall down on one building, or your Valks might make a hard detour based on that one building. And this time I made sure I had a couple of things in the bag just in case. So I really, I guess it wasn't a super base. It was definitely an average base, but a good 3-star nonetheless. You know, 106k 3-star. Got to be happy with that. Thank you, Mother, for the rabbits. Now, we will show Shine's attack on number 5 as well. Now, he did a Queen Walk with a GoVaHo, and he absolutely smashed this. I did watch it live. You see he starts with a couple of minions. I might even put it in 2-speed. I've got a lot of replays. I don't want to make the video too long. He did actually stuff his earthquakes up. He could have got all of that. Unfortunately, just muffed it just that tiny bit, but still got the key important part, and that was going into the middle. So even though he's missed it, his Valks are going to break in. I thought he probably dropped his healers just that touch too much on the left-hand side. If he had have dropped them further up on the right, they then wouldn't have gone anywhere near that that air defence. I thought that was probably one of the only things I could fault for the raid, and they just got so close. I'm going, oh shit, they're close. So you see a good use there. Knee jerk on his queen. Probably didn't need to drop it, but look at those king, those Valks absolutely go in. He's controlled it. Hasn't needed a freeze, and he's had a heal for his back end max hoggies. They've unfortunately run over a double. That wasn't mapped out. He wasn't aware that that was there, and the poor old hoggies copped it sweet. But you can see he has absolutely smashed this base. So 88k, that's near max. Great raid, Shine. Unlucky on your first one, otherwise you would have had a 6-pack. Was a bit of a competition for old Shine and myself, who was going to get to the hunt at the 1,000, I should say, first. I think I might pip him at the post, maybe. Now let's have a look at number 9, and this is Pete of the week. Old Pete comes in at the last minute, has a base still open, and yeah, he smashed it. I love it. It was a good raid. So Stoned GoHog, this used to be one of my favourite raids. At the moment, I'm probably using healers and Valks a bit more than I should, but he's absolutely nailed this. Double heal, double jump, and I do love how he's positioned that jump. So it's a 5-point jump, quite simple to get on the fly. Not sure why he used that first poison, but he did, maybe to keep it back. So his queen and Wizzy's got onto it, but then pops out the second poison, so that gets the queen and then the king. And you see the king's going to get old Jimmy Bob through the midfield there. He's going to do absolutely awesome. He guides these giant bombs perfectly. Even Pirate 2, that was one of my accounts. I used my engineered accounts. I stuffed this base up. And you see that second jump there. Worked perfect to get his golem into that second set. Quite a few hogs left. Queen stuck on the old walls there. Brilliant raid, Peter. Yeah. Not much more I can say about that. Didn't sneak out his second attack, but it was all over from there. Let's have a look at now at DTN. And he's gone with a HeVaHo. So healers, Valks, hogs. It's a bit of a staple army, I guess, for us at the moment. You know, we do go through cycles, but this army here is hugely, hugely popular at the moment in a lot of clans. And people are building bases designed against it, but the enemy clan used all hounds in the clan castles, and hounds are really, really weak to Valks. So you can just tank him, you don't need to do anything. Now the way DTN runs his army, generally, he puts 3 healers onto his queen, 1 healer onto his king, and then 2 for his Valks, and generally the king and the Valks join up and push through the midfield. So you see that earthquake, open that centre up very nicely, knocked off a lot of hit points from that expo, that clan castle. Bit of hurting down the bottom there, probably could have used some archers and got a bit more effect out of them. Now that queen's going to beautifully get onto that air defence and then walk along. Where did he put the Valks? There we go. So you see that king go down with that 1 healer. Keeping in mind you only get 50% healing from the on the heroes, but it works a treat. It's just there to soak. He's got so many hit points. First rage goes down, second rage goes down. Shit's dying, shit's everywhere. He's got healers everywhere. Saved a healer for the end for the hogs. And I just looked at that and laughed. He's still got a spell, still got both abilities. Absolutely annihilated that base. So it was a re-hit. It wasn't a first hit or anything like that, but he has read that base absolutely perfectly. We'll have a look now at another HeVaHo, and we'll look at Mozza. Mozza had a pretty big war. I think he had the 6 stars. And Mozza's gone with a very similar army composition, minus the hogs. So just healer and Valks. So I don't know, what would you call that? A HeVaHo army? You see those earthquakes rip that base up. He's just got that corner there. So that's going to give him good access through. Now, I think he does quite well with his minions at the start. Still only level 4. Come on, Mars. Get the minions up. Get the minions up. Little blue things. Good herding on his side there with his queen. He's making sure he pushes that queen the way he wants. I think he wants to get that air defense with that queen. And there she goes. Now you see the king down with the one healer. You see he is dropping, but because he's got such a big health pool, as long as he stays alive, as soon as those healers get into that rage, he's at full health again. Everything's died. Now that third rage worked a treat. You see now it's got the healers, it's got that Valk. His queen's following after that hound. Normally in this combo, if it's got a hound, you do try and avoid the hound with the queen if you can. And absolutely smashed that base. Good war, Muzz. Excellent war. Now, let's go and have a look at one of my little minis as well. And this is good old Bendover. And this is a bit of a composition I've been trying. 2 lightnings, the 1 earthquake. Doesn't matter what level earthquake. When you've got level 6 lightning at Town Hall 9, it'll always kill that air defense. Of course, making sure your air defenses are centered. But you see, I do move that air defense a little bit. That earthquake a little bit over. I wanted to get some damage on that expo. You see the king tanking for the big old level 8 queenie. She gets that archer tower down, gets that air defense down. That's absolute huge value for those 2 low-level heroes. And then a PentaHound to finish off. Good old spam army. I love the hounds. I love getting them out. And it's the only army Bendover has. So, 4 red bombs. I think this was a second hit. Yes, I did see someone try to ground army against it. And you see now where that rage is positioned. Those hounds are going to be tanking that queen the whole time. But you see 2 pups in that rage absolutely smash that queen in enough time. He had the 4 heat seekers sitting on that air defense. Absolute pisser. Loons everywhere. Good spread. Couple minions left. Yeah, people ask how I managed to do so many accounts. Some of the accounts I've got locked out armies. I've only got 1 or 2 armies at most, and it's a little way I've managed to keep myself good with armies because I don't have any other choice on Bendover. It's hounds or it's nothing. Always fun though. Always a lot of love for the old hounds. An army I've always thought do well with low-level heroes, or if you've got a king upgrading, something like that. Let's have a look at Dennis now. He had a really great start to his war. Dennis runs 1 Town Hall 8, 2 Town Hall 9s and 1 8, and he had 9 stars in the first night. Unfortunately, didn't get the 6-pack on his Town Hall 9. And I like what he's done here. He's got an extra couple giants, couple Wizzy, and wall breakers. And he's gone in with the DragHoLo, so the dragons, the hounds, and the loons, lining out 2 of the air defences, and the queen, level 18 queen, level 18 king. He does his heroes together, and he's probably could have moved that bottom earthquake over to get both those air defences just to soften that first one out. But normally he runs this combo with the 7 dragons, so there's no giants or wizards. You just use the heroes to get 1 air defense, but he managed to get that out quite well. So fairly low cost, but also got an extra arch tower, a heap of trash buildings. So I think that was quite a good value. You can see both those blowers facing away from the queen, making her very weak to the dragons. So of course the hounds go in there, dry spell. So you've got to make sure you time your loons properly, you time them in good positions. Sometimes the old Tesla farms might stuff it up, but you see that just gets the hound down, just enough loons to get through, and the old puff in the middle there gets that archer tower before that last heat seeker. So great raid, Dennis. Good war overall, mate. And I'm going to show one more as a bit of a laugh. And where are we? It was Space Monkey. This is one of Shine's minis, if you would call it a mini. big beastly 21, 22 heroes. And I think from talking to him or listening to him after the raid, he goes, where were my healers? So he was expecting to take himself some healers in and make it a queen walk, but he stuffed up and built a shitload of extra hogs and still nailed the 3. So very lucky there. I like the positioning of that queen. That's managed to make sure that she's held on. Use the ability early because that Expo on ground did lock onto her, but gets in there. Clan Castle Valks. He had, I think it was 4 or 5 of his own Valks. Now the Queen, she's going to end up dying to that Hound, but she holds that Hound just long enough. And what was good about it was it doesn't kill the Hound, otherwise those pups would be quite devastating. But then he's got all ground units left over, so busts out a rage. You can see that would have been for the Queen and healers, but uses it for the hogs quite convincingly. And the big old 3 stars. So great raid monkey. I think he's gone to visit his son's account clan. So have a bit of fun over there. So overall, really fun to have a much bigger war than standard 40v40. Angels Slayers, fairly good opponents up until the end, where we managed to finish off quite nicely. So, I mean, always good when you get a Town Hall 11 3-star, and of course knocking off the 2 10s. So, great war, Aussie Addicts, good fun. Hope you guys had a bit of a laugh, and as always, clash on.